Alright, people, it's a new year, which means new movies are coming our way, and not to spoil the end of this video, although kind of at the same time, but I'm totally going into 2025 just like this. I'm so hyped for Superman, but we also have a lot of other amazing movies coming our way in 2025. So many movies, not as big as we initially had planned. There's been lots of delays. We almost had a new Batman movie coming out the same year as our Superman movie and an Avengers movie. Those, of course, have been delayed. Of Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. Hopefully those aren't too far away, but 2025 still has lots in store. Actually, to the point where originally I was just going to do a top 10 video. But then that kind of evolved into a top 12. And then a top 15. And now it's just kind of a top 18. We'll say it's a top 10 with a lot of honorable mentions, kinda. And if you're familiar with my ranking and top 10 videos or whatever, as you know, I'm probably gonna forget what number I'm on, so I'll miscount. But I know there's 18 of them here. And I'll know at least when we get to the number one, because, well, you guys already know what that is. But let's start off this with one that actually I don't even know for a fact is going to release in 2025, but I'm hoping it does, because very similarly, another Andrew Garfield film that I wasn't able to put in my most anticipated of 2024 this time last year, because we didn't know for sure it was coming out that year. Don't want to make the same mistake here. We have After the Hunt, which is coming out from director Luca Guadagnino, who is a fantastic director. And just the cast here is really what gets me excited. Andrew Garfield, Io DeBerry, and Julia Roberts. You put the three of those together, it's got to be a good movie, people. I'm excited for this one. Again, don't know when it's coming out, if it'll even be this year, but still want to throw it in here. Now, a couple of Valentine's Day specials here. I'm not a huge horror guy, but I did see the trailer for Hard Eyes, and it's not going to be a great movie, but it's at least an interesting concept for like a Valentine's Day slasher, so I do plan on checking it out. We do also have Love Hurts, Valentine's Day action movie, which I'm not a big fan of action movies, but it's Ke Huy Quan, and soundtrack looks great. Now, speaking of love stories though, Love Me. The trailer for this came out very recently. I don't even remember what studio it's from. I don't think it's A24 even. But this just looks really interesting. I mean, first of all, just Kristen Stewart and Stephen Yeun, but Kristen Stewart is playing a buoy, and Stephen Yeun is a satellite, and they fall in love. And I highly recommend just go watch this trailer because it looks so fascinating and is just about what it means to be alive and to live and experience things. This looks like it's going to be a really big, beautiful film. That's probably going to be really underrated and like nobody's going to actually watch it or talk about it, but I'll watch it, I'll talk about it, and I'm probably going to love it. Now we also have Sinners. Of course, Ryan Coogler, fantastic director, Black Panther, the Creed movies, the pairing with Michael B. Jordan, even better. And we have that here not only once but twice, because Michael B. Jordan is playing twins in this film. Honestly, I still really don't know a whole lot about it. I just know, great director-actor combo, and I think they're fighting vampires or something. Trailer looked good. I think Haley Steinfeld's in it as well. She's hot. So yeah. Mickey 17, Robert Pattinson, and Bong Joon-ho, of course, his follow-up after the Oscar-winning Parasite, which I've still yet to see, but hopefully I'll get around to watching it soon. But Robert Pattinson I love. Stephen Yeun is also in this movie. The trailer looks so unique, to say the least. Just really kind of kooky and wacky, but potentially also very heartfelt and thought-provoking as well. This looks like it's going to be a fun film. Lilo and Stitch. Of course, the original animated film is just such a classic. And unlike Moana, which that movie came out like 6 years ago and they're already doing a live action, enough time has passed to where it makes sense to do a live action, where a lot of people who grew up on that film now have kids of their own. It makes sense. And I mean, like, we've only seen little bits and pieces from this movie so far, but Stitch looks amazing in live action, which was really the number one thing. If you didn't get that right, it was going to be terrible, but they have that so far. I mean, look at this adorable, fuzzy little blue alien creature. He's adorable. Then we have Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein movie, which I will say my excitement has dipped a little bit because Andrew Garfield, probably my favorite actor working today, was originally supposed to be in this. He was supposed to play the monster, but he, because of scheduling conflicts, was recast with Jacob Elordi, who I love Jacob Elordi. You also have Mia Goth in here, and Oscar Isaac as well. We've seen a few set photos, and I believe one official image, but everything we've seen from this so far looks really interesting. Especially the stylized time period that it's going to take place in. I'm very interested and excited to see this film. I believe it's going to be a Netflix film, so hopefully that'll be coming sometime this year. And then we have the Smurfs. I just grew up on the Smurfs, not only the original cartoon from like the 60s or 70s, but also I grew up in the time where the live action movies were coming out, which most people will say aren't great, but you know, I have a lot of nostalgia for them. I enjoy them. And the most recent animated Smurfs movie we got, not the best. I believe it was Smurfs in the Lost Village or something like that. This movie, I think, is just called Smurfs, and not a whole lot is known about it yet. We know it's a musical, which already is quite different from the previous films. And Rihanna, I believe, is voicing Smurfette, kind of following the trend of having a famous pop star doing the voice. You know, we had Katy Perry before. I don't remember who did the voice in the Lost Village, but it was another pop star. So we have Rihanna as Smurfette, and I also know Shoulder Duena is in this film as well, and there was like a really star-studded cast list for the movie, so a film I'm very excited for. And then we have How to Train Your Dragon, another live-action remake, which I'll say, growing up, I didn't love the How to Train Your Dragon movies, but leading up to this film, I definitely plan on revisiting them, and I can definitely tell that it's just one of those things where, as a kid, I maybe was bored with it and didn't really care about it, but as an adult, I'm probably going to really enjoy it. And everything we've seen from this trailer with this live-action adaptation looks beautiful and gets me really excited. Then we have Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts, which is a film that, when it was first rumored to be in development, I was really, really super hyped out of my mind about, because of the potential for this, because I love villains, and you put the villains together in a team that was great. My excitement dipped a little bit when they revealed the actual roster, like where is Baron Zemo, where's Abomination, why is Red Guardian on the team, but these are all great characters that I'm very excited to see their team dynamics. I'm excited to see the introduction of the Sentry, and the trailer looks great. So I'm really excited for this one still. Then we have another Marvel Studios film, Captain America Brave New World, which most people are more excited for Thunderbolts. I'm more excited for Captain America because I really loved The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I believe we have the same writer, or at least originally we had the same writer working on this film. Sam Wilson, I think, is going to be a great Captain America. Just wish they didn't change his suit. And we have Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk. But even more exciting, the return of Tim Blake Nelson as Samuel Stearns from The Incredible Hulk, now fully becoming the leader. I'm very excited for that. Giancarlo Esposito's in this film. It comes out on Valentine's Day, which is just unfortunate releasing. I'm not happy with the release date, but you know, I'll see it sometime opening weekend. And yeah, I mean, it's Captain America. Of course I'm excited. Then we have an A24 film with Death of a Unicorn. Kind of came unexpected out of nowhere. A few weeks ago, we got the first trailer for this, and it's now one of my most anticipated films of 2025. We got Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega, but honestly, I'm most excited for this film because of Will Poulter. Will Poulter, I loved him in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. He's phenomenal in The Bear, and he is hilarious in this trailer. And this just looks like, again, a really zany, out-of-pocket, weird, funky, fun film from A24. It's about unicorns. It's got a great cast. Looks like it's going to be a fun ride. I'm really excited for this one. Then we have Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery, the third film in the Knives Out trilogy. This one is not also confirmed to come out in 2025, but I'm assuming it will. They filmed last year, and this may even have the most star-studded cast of the whole trilogy. Obviously, we have Daniel Craig back, but now we have Josh Brolin, Jeremy Renner, Josh O'Connor, Mila Kunis, Thomas Hayden Church, probably some other, Glenn Close, I think, is in it. Really, really star-studded cast that I'm quite excited to see. The first two films are just absolutely phenomenal. I gotta rewatch them sometime soon because they're just so good. And I just love murder mysteries, and especially to do it with such a star-studded cast like this is always so much fun. So I'm really, really quite excited for this third Knives Out film. Now we come into our final films on this list. I believe this is, I think, again, I told you I'd lose count. I believe this is maybe number 4 on the list. We have Michael, the Michael Jackson biopic. This one's kind of obvious. Like, it's Michael Jackson. He was the king of pop. There's some of his songs that I don't really even love that much, but I'm just really fascinated to see the story because I know there's a lot of drama from his life, especially towards the end. And I do love a lot of his music, so I'm excited to see that on display. The fact that you have his real life nephew, Jafar Jackson, playing him, and he just looks exactly like him in this movie. You've also got other great stars like Coleman Domingo, and I believe Miles Teller in this film as well. I'm very excited for Michael. Now we have number 3, Wicked Part 2, Wicked for Good, which I still don't love the title. I mean, I understand it because it's the name of a song in the second act, but it doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. But Wicked Part 1 was one of my favorite movies of 2024. So going into 2025, I'm very excited to see this story continue. As I mentioned in my review for the film, it really sucks with this being a Broadway musical that came out 20 years ago, so people just feel like they can freely talk about spoilers on the internet as much as they want. So I already know most of what happens in part 2, unfortunately. And I do know a lot of people have said that, of course, the first movie kind of covered the first act of the musical, and part 2 covers the second act of the musical. And from what I've heard, most people will say that the second act is weaker than the first, which is a little disappointing. But as long as we have great songs again, we love the characters. There's some great choreography and all that, and story elements and all that. I'm excited for this. I'm excited to see where this story goes. And with it being a film adaptation, maybe they can take some elements from the musical that were a bit weaker and possibly enhance them. So I'm very excited for Wicked Part 2. Now, my second most anticipated film of 2025 is Marvel Studios' Fantastic Four: First Steps. It's Marvel's first family. I love these characters. I love the Fantastic Four. I grew up on them. I grew up on those original Fox films. Fan Four Stick, not the best. This is a team that really deserves a great film adaptation, and everything we've seen and heard from this film so far looks and sounds amazing. I mean, first of all, just the cast. You got Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Eben Moss-Bachrach. That looks fantastic. And they're fighting Galactus, and we have at least a version of the Silver Surfer in here, and possibly some other Fantastic Four villains like Mole Man and the Red Ghost. That really excites me. But the thing that honestly excites me the most is that we're doing this whole 60s era retro futuristic style for this film. That's honestly what gets me most excited, because it's going to be really unique for the MCU, but works so well with these characters and with this team. So I'm very, very excited to see that. But of course, you guys already know my most anticipated film of 2025 is Superman. Of course, we're kicking off the DCU with James Gunn's Superman. And Superman, just as a character, one of my favorite superheroes, probably my favorite DC superhero. I just love this character. I love Smallville. I love the original Superman, the animated series. Superman Lois was a great show as well. I love this character and the characters in Superman's world. And to see how comics accurate this is, and how we're finally, I didn't hate Man of Steel and Zack Snyder's approach to Henry Cavill Superman. Henry Cavill, I think, was great casting. But just I didn't appreciate the darker version of that character. I love David Corenswet. I think is phenomenal casting for this role, and I love that we're going in a brighter, more hopeful, the classic blue Boy Scout route of Superman here. We got Crypto in here, Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen with the perfect casting. Lex Luthor looks great. The recent teaser trailer we got just made me so incredibly happy with the theming and the visuals, and I just trust James Gunn so much. He's never disappointed me before, and clearly he cares about these characters a lot. He cares a lot about the comics, so I'm very, very incredibly excited to see Superman this July. But anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What are your most anticipated films of 2025? Again, like I said, we got a lot of good ones coming. It was hard to narrow it down. I had to put 18 on the list, and that was even with cutting out some. Like, I'm still excited for Karate Kid Legends and kinda Snow White, maybe Minecraft. We'll see. But yeah, 2025, it's going to be a good year for movies, so let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button so I keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the movie life.